Hey, welcome to a new video. Today you join me as we are on our way to Osaka Auto Messe. We're just jumping on the train to head into the exhibition center, and it's going to be all about Kansai, car style, and of course the good thing about Auto Messe is that it kind of attracts cars from the rest of Japan. Sometimes you don't even get to see at Tokyo Roson, so excited to head in. It's my first Auto Messe ever, which is going to make it even more interesting. Alright, you can really see just how stuck and completely clogged up all these roads are around the exhibition center, which is precisely the reason we decided to drop off the car 10 minutes away and get the train in. So we are heading inside the exhibition center there. My first time at Osaka Auto Messe. Alright, I think in retrospect, coming here on the Sunday was probably a bad idea. It's so packed. Just look at the amount of people that are in here. I'm just gonna try and do the best I can to show you what the show is all about, but as you can see, I can barely walk. So it's no surprise that we're gonna be seeing a lot of the same cars that we saw at Tokyo Auto Salon last month. So I'm just gonna try and concentrate on the things that really stand out, that are different, so that we don't need to deal with repeats. As I say that, I spot the Blitz booth. Let's see what these guys have on show. Blitz has the LBX Lexus, probably one of the most popular micro-size SUVs now, Morizo version as well. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening here, I guess. Diablo, but I believe everybody's actually waiting for the girl back there, judging by the crowds. Carrozzeria Japan has this super clean 180 SX here to show off one of their 2-din units, as well as parcel shelf speakers. This car is actually a global auto car. Interesting to see that Carrozzeria is embracing the older cars. I'm at the Toyo Tire booth, and there's this sick M4 from Dort running an insane amount of carbon in the engine bay, even Churi for the intakes. Even the suspension strut tower bar is carbonized. Let's have a look at the car from the outside. There's a few interesting race cars here at the Toyota Gazoo booth, including a final spec A90 Supra. I think this is based on a GT4 race car with that roll cage. Check out the seats in this, those are sick. Different from the driver to the passenger side, if you notice that. A hood with a carbon fiber outlet. So this is the A90 final edition. A definite collector car. So after the A90 final edition, here's the A90 Super GT GT500 car in its raw form. I totally understand why it took us 2 hours to get inside here. The crowds are just unbelievable. Take a look at the sea of people you have to get through. I just wanted to see this Puro Sangue at the TWS booth. I always want to see what Puro Sangues look with aftermarket wheels, because I'm not a fan of what Ferrari does to wheels in the first place. But there you go. God, this thing is massive. Unsurprisingly, Liberty Walk has taken over the second hall here. They have a massive display of cars with a mega wide screen. You can see the F40, the R32 Type M we shot. Oh no, wait, that's over there. The GTR. This guy's in the virtual world here with his Apple thing. Over here we have the two Lambos, the Miura and the Countach, and of course the little AutoZone base F40. Let's go take a look at that. This is so sick. Always cool to see this car. I think once we do get the chance to visit Liberty Walk later in the year, I definitely want to take this out for a ride. I just can't get over the crowds Here's one of the coolest Liberty Walk conversions, at least according to me, they're FDRX7. And this one's running a very well modified 13B setup. It's always crazy how many vans there are at Japanese car shows. And this booth in particular is an interesting mix. You got Nissan Caravans, you got a 2024 Nismo R35 GTR, and then we get to the high-ace section. Interesting mix, even a Maybach van. And over here at the end are some BMW M cars. You got an M4 and an M2. I apologize, I can't get clear shots of anything, but as you can see, it is very, very busy today. Here's a car that has done the rounds on the internet, the Aero over Crown SUV. Since the Crown SUV looks remarkably similar to a Ferrari Purosangue, these guys have totally embraced it and have gone for a little bit of a Ferrari type joke, giving it yellow emblems on the sides and on the front. I wonder what Ferrari thinks about this. I actually think it looks better than a Purosangue. And just so you can compare, there's one right next to them. So the same guys that do the Ferrari Crown are actually the people that also do one of the many kits that are available for the Suzuki Jimny. This is an AMG take on the Jimny that they offer, and seeing that the 4-door version of the Jimny has recently been announced in Japan, they even have a kit ready for that. And the funny thing about this, so after the announcement that Suzuki did in Japan saying that the 4-door version of the Jimny will be on sale, they sold out instantly online, so they had to stop. Like, you can't order it anymore until they, you know, catch up with production. How crazy is that? Here we are at the Super Autobacks stand with the Doriken version of the Hyundai Ioniq. So this is like a special edition. I'm not sure if this is Japan only, but they worked with Keiichi Tsuchiya on this to create kind of like a sporty take on the car. You can see his signature there on the side and that massive carbon wing at the back. I always forget just how big and bulky the Ioniq 5 is, but there you go. Korean car tuned by a Japanese racing legend. All right, so I'm at the Wagonist booth, a popular Japanese magazine all about vans, and they have a sick pairing of slammed Alfards running on air suspension. So sick. I probably rambled on how much I love vans here in Japan. I actually have a Velfire myself, older generation, but these new ones are so sick. Good to see this Land Cruiser pairing from DAD. They got the new 250 here, the replacement of the Prado, right alongside the remake of the 70 series. And this is pretty much sold out in Japan. This one is doing really well, but I think a lot of people are complaining that the engines suck in these things. They don't have a lot of power and they sound pretty uninspiring. But the tuning scene has really embraced this new Land Cruiser. And design-wise at least, it looks absolutely sick. I think the most surprising thing for me here at Auto Messe, at least in these first 3 holes that I've done, is just how many camping cars, off-road vehicles and vans there are. This is the Bodyline booth with a ton of crazy caravan conversions. That is the Nissan equivalent of a Hiace, of course. This is a lifted one. We got kind of like camping conversions. And after our little RWB camping excursions, These look really good to me because they look especially comfortable, something the RWB 964 is not. Over here, Nissan customized collection, a bunch more Nissans built for off-roading, and even a selection of Mitsubishis. Check out this plastic protector. I've never seen anything like that. That's bizarre. On this Mitsubishi Outlander. I'm here at Honda where they have an FL5 Type R with the racing black package. This was definitely not at Auto Salon, and it has contrasting black wheels and some interior goodies, including a nice race seat. Here's a car everybody's drooling over. This is the prototype version of the upcoming Prelude. This is the car that was on display at the Honda headquarters in Aoyama, Tokyo. All black, so it's actually really difficult to see most of the details. But you know, it's interesting that they would use the Prelude name to create an EV sports car. But then again, we can only be happy that they're actually making sports cars again, because right now Honda is looking pretty bleak when it comes to sports car selection, having only the FL5. Right here is the Mugen version of the FL5, the Group B. Lots of carbon fiber on this. Check out that spoiler. Special Mugen wheels. They kind of look like BBS's, and indeed they are BBS Japan wheels. Let's take a look at the cabin. Pretty simple layout, a few upgrades, and that sick Mugen logo on the headrest of the Recaro bucket seats. There you go. You can see all the carbon goodies on it, carbon vented hood, and that special front splitter. You see what I mean? It's just full of off-road vehicles here. We are at the Damned booth, who are some of the best out there making crazy conversions to cars. There's even a Jeep conversion to be done to a RAV4 base. All right, we're over here at Nismo, where they have the Fairlady Z Nismo version on display, right in front of the final version of the GTR Nismo. This is the 2025 Nismo version, the last R35 production year. So it seems even Nissan is embracing the off-road thing here. They have a special version of the X-Trail, which is trailering this bizarre kind of like lion trailer. It's all like made out of like curved wood, so you can kind of create your own sleeping arrangement, taking advantage of the wave design. Get some pillows on there and it looks pretty comfortable. Or maybe not. What do you guys think? This is bizarre. Everywhere I look is just van after van. And I spot some Keitora. That's more down stuff I like here. We have a nice selection here from Hello Kitty. I actually shot with these guys ages ago for Speed Hunters. Good to see that they're still out there doing their crazy conversions to their K-Trucks. And it's really cool because back when I helped Top Gear do their Japan episode with Chris Harris and Matt LeBlanc, we actually got a bunch of Hello Special K-Trucks brought up all the way to Ibiza circuit to drive them on Minami, and I even got to drive one around Minami while they were doing the filming, so that was a really cool experience. And I guess we really need to visit these guys because they do really interesting stuff. It's like a Bosozoku take on K-Trucks. Vans, 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 wherever you look. More vans. What on earth has happened to these things? Look at the conversion here. Looks like a Dakar version of a K-truck. So sick. More modified vans, although those ones I like. All right, I think we are starting to get into the proper Kansai style stuff. Got a bunch of VIP rides here. There you go, how about that for a crazy lineup of Bippu cars. Starting off here with a Junction Produce Nissan President. From old style, Bippu style, we go to the newer stuff. This is a brand new Crown sedan. There's a couple of here slammed down some massive wheels. shod in Yokohama tires. You have an older Crown RS on BBS LMs. God, I love this style so much. This is what Osaka does so well. And right next to this Crown Hybrid, we have a Sentry, which I can't see anymore. Let's see if we can get a clear shot. And here we are, the most expensive VIP sedan out there, the new Sentry, slammed down on a set of Brabus wheels, massive Brembo brakes over there. So sick. This thing is massive. There you go. Japan's answer to the Rolls-Royce. And right next to it is the previous generation Sentry on some BBS LMs. I actually prefer this older one. If you recall, we went to N-Style in Gunma to drive their manual swapped V12 Sentry. Probably one of the craziest cars I've ever driven. But this generation is really sick. Have a look at the new Sentry in all its understated, conservative glory. They don't go too crazy, just crazy enough to make it super luxurious. You can see that continues right to the back. Yeah, this one for me does it more. Still, good to see people doing crazy things with this new Sentry as well. Let's keep moving. Here's something we see at every show. How many exhausts can you get on a car? And man, does this hole get far more interesting than what we've seen so far. Man, Osaka Auto Messe is quite crazy. So different from Tokyo Auto Salon. It's wild out here. VIP cars and their crazy camber. That's a wild Crown Majesta. Look at the lip on these work wheels. And the metal work to get these fenders to sit right on this Mark X. That is beautiful execution. All done in metal, front and back. The flaring starting right on the door. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, every single Japanese four-door sedan ever produced is right here in VIP form. The Bippu style is real. People still doing these crazy builds. It's really cool to see. And it's even cooler to see all these new cars. Like, this is the previous generation of the Crown with that funky grille. Right next to it, we have a Lexus IS. Probably one of the very few that I've seen done up like this in Bippu style. We continue on to this Nissan Fuga Infiniti M45 and a crazy wide body Lexus RC. Over on this side we go to some older style stuff. Crazy Yon Mary here with pretty sick Takeyari. Sitting right behind the two Sentries we were looking at a second ago. The new and the old one. There's a bunch of Kaido Racer inspired builds here. This GX71 with the Rothmans colors is so sick. I love these old school Mark IIs. This one's running a pretty crazy conversion. No rear bumpers, exhaust on point. All the details are just right. TS X10 boxes in the back. Super sweet interior. Now there you can see that. And of course, the shark nose. All right, I think I've started a little Takeyari hunting session here. This is probably the craziest version of a Takeyari I've seen on this Celica Supra, which is running that hatch conversion, crazy fender setup, and a prolonged shark nose. Insane Celica XX. Since I keep blabbering on about cool vans, I'll show you the best of the best. This is the Lexus LM. This thing has been slammed down on a set of 22-inch wheels. It literally sits on the ground. That's pretty wild. Look at the tuck on the rear. Demand front and rear brake calipers. And pretty simple way of taking your 20 million yen LM500 hybrid and turning it into a sick slammed show car. And you can also see that the very usable trunk space here of the Velfire, Alphard and LM pretty much serves the perfect space to dump your air suspension setup into, hidden away, so you can have all that luxurious space uncompromised. Here's another Nissan President that has stopped me in my tracks. This thing actually sports some of the craziest metalwork I've ever seen. All this wideness has been injected here with like a secondary lip right across the entire door, and you can see how the door at the back here widens to accommodate the crazy stance, flowing directly into an integrated trunk spoiler. Check out the inside of this thing, completely reupholstered. Very, very sick stuff. And of course, in the back, you got your champagne, fridge, and glass dispenser. How sick is that? And to boot, there is even a Rolls-Royce styled headliner. It's really cool to see so many Lexus VIP cars. There's a LS over here, another IS. They've gone absolutely nuts on this. Look at the rear fender setup. Again, all metal, really well integrated into the door, and that trunk spoiler that extends all the way out. Okay, I have no idea what's going on here. I think this is a Lamborghini Diablo. I hope it isn't, but it certainly looks like it might be based on one. This is insanity. It is indeed a 1991 Lamborghini Diablo. What on earth is going on here? It's literally something out of an Ultraman episode. Found some cool old school cars. We've got a Celica GT and a Ken Mary Skyline. Let's see what this is sporting up front. Beautiful L series. Look at the shaved and wire tucked engine bay. This is absolutely beautiful. GC 110. All right, I think I found exactly what I came to see at Osaka Auto Messe. This is peak Osaka right here. A set of crazy liveried Kanjo loop Civics. We've got a nice selection of EK9s. There's an EG6 down there. This one's running an interpretation of a Spoon Sports livery. Sick engine bay. Another Spoon, but going for a blue livery. Take a look at the engine bay here. Right here is a beautiful EG6 with Lakers coloring of all things. Right next to it, gets a little bit crazier. Let's take a look inside. I love these things. We were actually out with a bunch of Kanjo guys and girls last night, so it's so appropriate that we've seen even more cars here at the show today. Got a couple of more EK9s here. McDonald livery for this one, and this is a very legendary Honda coloring. The old school Honda Accord used to run the Castro livery in Super Taikyu here in Japan in the early to mid 90s. I still can't believe what I saw here. What have they done to a Diablo? spotted this brand called Twisted. They do Restomods on old school Landies, and this extended four-door looks sick. Looks like a bit of a G-Wagon. So 5-seaters up here, and then you have 2 extra seats in the back. So this is in essence a 7-seater Land Rover. It's pretty sick, pretty smooth, not too crazy, just done with the right amount of style. So I actually noticed a bunch of you commented on the cool cars from Tokyo Auto Salon, so I'll try and show you guys the same cars here at Osaka Auto Messe. We got the 35, the crazy wide body new Gen Z, and right there at the end, if I can actually make it up there, the crazy A90 Supra, redefining what roof spoilers are all about. Let's take a look from the back at this wide, insane creation. Just have to stop to take a closer look at this 911E 2.4, completely restored throughout. Such a clean build. Looks like they're still working on the front. So I made it over to Work Wheels, where they have this brand new Z sitting on their re-released VS's. Always love these wheels. I think they look really good on the kind of VIP sedans, or like the Lexus LC Coupe they had at TAS. Just love the look. It's one of those designs that never really get old and fit so many cars. Got a silver one on this side. Let's see if we can find the full lineup. Work just makes so many wheels. Here they are in all their glory. Such a cool design. And the finishes are on point. So after the Auto Salon video, you'll be seeing that we actually went to see Toshi's garage here in Osaka. He's the guy behind Fuel Fest, and he's created a pretty cool interpretation of a 190. He's going with a crazy wide body Cosworth inspiration here. We actually saw this car at Tokyo Auto Salon, so you can expect to see a video in his garage in the coming weeks as we go through all the content that we've been shooting in Osaka for the last 6 days. Check out this R129 SL from S & Company. This thing is absolutely wild. Crazy wide body, Koenig wheels, absolutely wild. We'll have to see if we can get a view from the back. And that's what you call some girth right there. Look at the fender widening on this thing. Pretty sick. Good to see old school 90s car getting this treatment. So hiding in the middle of all this craziness here, I just spotted a complete AC Schnitzer wide body M2. This thing is running crazy wheel setup, all branded AC Schnitzer throughout, the massive fender conversion at the back as well. All right, we saw the pairing of Sentries on the other hole. This is the Sentry SUV, the craziest interpretation of a luxury vehicle that a Japanese manufacturer does. They're so hard to buy. You can only buy them in Japan through a leasing program. So they're trying to protect the whole market. They don't want people to export these. And this thing is being dropped on some massive 24-inch wheels. Showstopper here, Koenig Ferrari Testarossa twin turbo. You can see the engine setup with that crazy intake manifold, turning the Testarossa into something absolutely bonkers. And there's also a Koenig Special Benz right next to it. It's really cool because these cars were always so popular in Japan. There's actually one exactly the same on sale, pretty close to where I'm living in Tokyo. That crazy Benz. And right next to it, the real deal, a Hakosuka Skyline GTR with that S20 engine. Right next to it, there's a Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, the off-road version of the Huracan. These guys at Triple S are really killing it. They got all the crazy collectibles, super valuable stuff, even a massive Phantom. And also to finish it off, a couple of Lamborghini Aventadors. All right, I found the Race booth. Of course, just like Work Wheels and TWS, Race calls Osaka home. So it's no surprise that they would create a crazy booth. This is so much bigger than their booth at Tokyo Auto Salon. Super layout here. That T37 shod G-Wagon we saw in Tokyo last month. Got a Crown SUV. And over here, the Urus ER34 D1 car of Nomuken. Talk about TE37, the world. These, of course, are the 23-inch version of the TE37 that Race is considering putting into production. I'm pretty sure they will. It's the last kind of version of the wheel that they need to have out. One that is able to take the weight of these gigantic heavy SUVs, and of course all the electric cars that are coming out today that weigh probably double the amount of a normal car. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. A T37 on a G-Wagon or T37 on any other SUV? What do you think? Here's one I love. Red FL5 on the new CE28 N pluses. These are actually a special edition version. Perfect match for a Civic Type R. It's pretty cool to see that this Japan-only version of the Nismo Skyline 4-door has already been kind of getting modified out here in the scene. Nismo wheels in this one, endless brakes, front and back, shod in Yokohama tires. Phoenix's Power always have the craziest tuned 35s. We always meet up with these guys at events like Ars Meeting, Nismo Festival, and they don't really make it up to Tokyo Auto Salon, so it's cool to see them out here at Osaka Auto Messe, which is far more local to them since they're based in Kyoto. Here's that modified new Gen Z they had at Ars Meeting. And of course, these guys are all about power, tuning, so you would expect nothing less but to see fully built engines on display and lots of the parts that they distribute and develop and of course fit. Here's a turbo kit for the Z34 that we just saw, so you can get an idea of how it looks laid out in the engine bay. Not that you would see much, pretty much just this top section is what you would see in the engine bay. Everything else is hidden away. You can see the custom made exhaust manifolds. Good to see the Urus guys here stopping people in their path with their ER34 kit. It looks absolutely sick. I'm not sure if this is a redesign, but it looks so smooth. Chunkier fenders, and of course that trunk spoiler. And of course Nomuken is right there in the shop, looking after his customers. Alright, so I'm here at the RSR booth and they really pulled out possibly the coolest car that they could ever pull out. This is their 1997 Bando RSR Super GT GT300 S14 Silvia. This is a car that Manabu Arido drove along with Fukuyama. This thing looks sick. I just always loved the over fender treatment on this. And you can kind of see where the aftermarket interpretation of the over fender craze came from. These are literally just riveted to the body. Crazy setup. Very simple wing, minimal aerodynamics here with what is a very, very simple wing back here. And what a car. Completely stripped out, sequential transmission. And I know Manabu Arido has his own booth here, so he must have enjoyed seeing this old car from back in the day. I'm trying to literally handpick the best cars here and I just came across this all carbon fiber full stage Shaku RX-7. This thing is absolutely wild. It runs a 3-rotor peripherally ported NA, all Motec engine control, and it even features the OS Geeken 7-speed sequential transmission. Let's take a look at the back of this mad thing. Look at the wing on this. So this participates at time attack events at Central Circuit, and it is one of the craziest FDs I've seen, pretty much after the Revolution FD that used to participate, of course, at scuba attack events. Right next to the crazy FD here is the Aslan EG6 time attack beast. Always love to see how they continuously improve and refine their engine setup. This thing is absolutely wild. K24 head, 839 kilos, 320 horsepower. This thing is absolute madness. Let's take a look from the back here, so you can get a broader look at these two crazy time attack machines. This FL5 in blue with the T37 RTs. I think probably one of the best color coordination here. Works so well. Another sick EK9 here. Very clean engine bay. And check out that airbox with the Mugen logo on there. They're just so... Right, as we pass through onto another legendary Civic build here, the Exceed EK9. Everybody going crazy over this. Let's take a look at the interior. The No Good Racing logo on the front seats. Fuel system at the back. Absolutely sick. So sick to be seeing the Rosebud S13. I shot one of the very previous iterations of this car. It's looking quite different now, and it's positioned right next to a couple of other really cool EK9s. It seems to be a competition of who comes up with the best liveries. This one's got Pringles, actually this one too. It's cool to see that, you know, Auto Messe really does attract every Japanese manufacturer. We got Subaru here, who have brought out their STI BRZ GT car. And over there is a production car I'm going to go and check out. Maybe it is the new Impreza STI. So this is the S210 prototype. And while I do appreciate Subaru STI still making these kind of limited edition models, this car actually runs a CVT transmission. So 300 horsepower, which is not really a great upgrade over what previous S model STIs have offered. But to fit something that pretty much becomes the halo of your brand with a CVT transmission, and in parenthesis they did put it's got a manual mode, it just doesn't work. Sorry STI, thumbs down from me. Of course, this is also what Osaka Auto Messe is all about, getting in line for the model shots. Check this Tamon Design GT3 kitted FC from Garage Miyoshi. Not the craziest of setups, but you should never mess with balance on these old school rotaries. I love how this is built up. This gets my vote. Sitting right next to another very clean FC interpretation here. This one running a very clean engine setup, pushing out 260 horsepower. Not too crazy, but just right. Let's take a look from the back, if we can get past all the crowds. So finally we got a clean look at that Tamon GT300 kit. This is a brand new aero package that Tamon has created, and you can see the fender work here is just sublime. Kind of injecting a little bit of a modern feel into the FC, of course incorporating that fixed headlight conversion. Nice sick lineup of cars here on the very corner of the main hall at Auto Messe. I'll just do a quick walkthrough so you guys can get an idea of the kind of stuff you can see. Check out this D1 machine running a 2J swap. Got the little 2 chimneys for the external wastegates. Ending up here with this insane FD Formula D Japan quad rotor insanity here, twin turbo, almost a very similar setup to Mad Mike's Mazda 3. It's found these two GX81 Chaser and Mark II pairing. You don't really see too many of these out in the wild. I do love both shapes, the Chaser and the Mark II, of course, having completely different rear and front treatments. Peerless doors, sitting on some crazy work wheels. This one, the Mark II, running Watanabes. Check this out. You don't really see old school Audis like this in Japan often. This is a really nice Audi 90 from Newegg. Slammed down on some AP1 wheels. Right, what do you think could possibly be happening here? Look at the wall. It's like 5 deep. And that's because, of course, they have a race queen doing her thing. And then finally we end up at Casey's little display here. He's together with the N-Style car. So this is Casey's D1 Lights S13 build that we saw pretty much before it got built up, and now it's a fully functioning and regularly abused drift cars, sitting right next to this insane creation as well. So right next to Casey's S13 is Naoki Nakamura's own car. Unmistakable coloring wise. One of the sickest drift builds of all time, if you ask me. These two cars look so good together. And check out Casey's car sitting on the worked VS's. This thing is absolutely sick. We'll have a chat to him in a second. Again, his D1 Lights competition car. Let's take a look inside Casey's shirts tucked in competition car. Love how he's approached this car. Super sick. Color coordination on point. You got the blue on the chassis and that sparkle silver across the roll cage. I really hope I get to ride in this thing at one point, except there's no seat. All right, I hope you enjoyed the content so far. So we've basically spent the whole day here at Auto Messe, but we've been here in Osaka for a good week, and there's a lot of stuff dropping after this episode. Make sure you check back soon for that. Hit us up on dinodc.co for the merch. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and of course you can also follow us on Patreon, where we drop some cool, unique content there as well. Check back soon for more. The wall of people. So yeah, people don't really come for cars here.